Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. 2 years ago I made this dragon pot, and today I'm finally going to plant a tree in it. Here's a look at the pot. So it's been outside for the 2 years and it's done quite well. I did have one slight crack in it here that I filled with automotive body filler. I just didn't want any roots growing in that crack. It could expand and maybe make the crack larger, but other than that, you know, there's a few minor cracks in it, but it did quite well in the firing. So that's good. So the tree I'm going to put in it is here. It's a Blue Bell tree, and I got this from Johnny at Tropical Bonsai Inc. He gave it to me as a gift. Not from the company, he said personally. He just enjoys the videos, and so that's the tree, and I think it's a good style for this pot. The dragon pot is kind of a twisty and windy, and this tree is also very twisty and windy, the branch structure. So I think it'll look really good in this pot. I was considering putting my aloe bonsai in the pot, which is back here, and it would look quite good because the aloe leaves kind of look like the tail of a dragon. But it's in a nice pot. It's in a Wayne pot. So I'm not going to put the aloe in it. I think I'll keep the aloe in that pot. And I'll plant an actual tree in this pot. So the tree might look a little small at first, but I think as it grows it'll fill out and look really good in the pot. I got this tree last year at the fall show in Toronto, and it overwintered quite well. There are a few branches that lost some leaves, but there's buds on them. It's just kind of starting to wake up now that it's outside in the greenhouse, getting the sunlight, the water, fertilizer. It's just starting to grow, and you can see the new growth up top. And they get blue flowers on them, which is quite nice too. I'm going to begin by removing the tree from the pot. I don't know what soil this tree is in, so I'm going to replace all the soil with bonsai soil, and it should grow quite well. These trees, you need to keep them warm. I don't know what the lowest temperature is that they can survive at, but I know it's kind of around 15 degrees Celsius, maybe 12. I don't know how low they can go, but you've got to keep these trees warm. They're a true tropical tree. So I've been doing that. I kept it in the plant room over the winter, keeping it nice and warm, well watered, in good sunlight, and it's been doing quite well. So let's get the tree out of the pot and see what the root system looks like. Okay, here I go getting the tree out of the pot. I don't believe it's wired in. It doesn't look like it. So hopefully it'll just pop out. Here it comes. There we go. So I'll take the pot away. Now let's have a look at the root system. So this soil is just kind of falling away. So there's a bit of a mat of roots on the bottom, and there's lots of roots in the pot, and they look healthy. Yeah, no problems there. No drainage screen. So I'll begin raking out the soil. And I'll use my little root rake for this. The soil's quite crumbly. The soil's very crumbly, actually. There's a mixture of everything in here. Pine bark, stones, gravel. So this is an exposed root style. So you can see all the exposed roots. The trunk actually starts up here, and I think that'll be a nice style for this dragon pot. The more twisty, windy elements to the tree, the better. Okay, I think I've got it. All the loose soil is off. So I'll take it over to my washing station and just clean out the remainder of the soil from the roots. Okay, into the water it goes. Well, that certainly washed the roots quite clean. Yeah. I think that's pretty good. Just needed a swish. Yeah, so I think back into the greenhouse, and I'll try and sort these roots out and decide if I need to do a lot of root pruning or just a little bit. I've got the dragon pot out and I need to pick a front. I think you want the dragon looking at you. I think that would be a good front for it. If I rotate it around, it's kind of, I don't know. I think it looks best with the dragon looking at you from the front, so that'll be the front. So let's try the tree out in the pot now. Just a preliminary look to see if it looks okay. So I think the front of the tree is somewhere here because it has this back branch. You can't have that sticking out the front. And it's got a bit of an apex here. I may have to prune this branch so it's more of a cascading branch. I don't want two competing apexes on the tree. And as far as the height in the pot, I think, you want your root spread kind of filling the pot like it is now. I don't think I would want it any lower. I mean, it fits in the pot really nicely like that. Yeah, so I think that's the plan. The pot like this, and the tree something like this. So the trunk is slightly coming towards you. I've been working away trying to untangle all the roots. I want them chaotic and twisty like snakes, but I don't want them, like a tangled knot. So I'm just trying to get all the roots sorted out. So at least they're kind of a bit radial. And I think it's looking pretty good. I've sorted out a lot of these roots. There is one here that's kind of going straight down. I don't know about that one. There. I got that sorted out. I don't want to tame the root system too much. I want it to stay fairly snake-like and chaotic, but I want some order. So there's a few roots growing back in towards the tree here. I'm going to prune those away. Yeah, that's sorted out fairly well. I'll just do a pruning, kind of flattening out the bottom a bit more. So it sits nicely in the pot. I think that's fairly good. I think all the roots are sorted out fairly well, untangled. A bit more here I can do. There. Now there's one here growing back in towards the tree. I'll get rid of two of them actually. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I think that's going to be it. So I'll get the pot out and I'll try it out in the pot once again. My dragon pot has 2 drainage holes here, and there's 2 drainage holes here, so I think it'll drain quite well. I will put a little bit of a screen over top of there, just so the soil doesn't wash out. I think these screens will do. They're quite flexible. They're just nylon window screening. Yeah, that'll work quite well. So I'll put a base layer of soil in the pot. I'm just going to, before I do that, just try the tree out once again. Yeah, it fits in there quite well. I think the height is good. I think some of these roots that were in the soil will just get exposed a little bit more, but not too much. And it's the kind of tree that I can slowly raise it with each repotting if I want to. Yeah, I think that'll do. So I'll get a base layer of soil on the bottom of the pot. All right, here I go. So I'm going to get my screens in place. Like that. And I'll put a bit of a mound in the middle. So here goes my mound. I think that's good. And then I can position the tree. I better get another scoop of soil. Okay, here I go, positioning the tree. I think I'm just going to take a little bit more off this root. It was kind of sticking down a bit too far. So the front of my tree, I want it tilted forward just a little bit, I think. Maybe not. Just a little bit like that. I'll try and get my roots sorted out. Like that. Get them in the pot. And then I'll just kind of rotate it to get the tree settled in. And I think it's possible this could become my apex too. I think it has. Not sure if it's alive actually. These ones, there's buds popping out, so I think that one will, but if not, I could tilt it this way. No. I think something like that. Kind of tilting the root base a bit so it has a bit of a curve, a flow to it. And let me see. Front. Pretty good there. Yeah, I think somewhere there is pretty good. I'll show you a view of that. Here is a look at the tree in the pot now. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Happy with that. Some of these roots are exposed quite a bit here on this side, but I can, build the soil up and put some moss around it. That'll keep them hydrated until they kind of toughen up a bit. Now, as far as the position in the pot, yeah, I think that's all good. Okay, time to add the soil. Okay, dragon. Are there any roots that need sorting out? I don't think so. I think it's all good. Let me just move this over a bit. Okay, I'm going to add the soil now. This is very exciting, planting the dragon pot. It's been a long time since I made it, and finally it gets a tree. So I'll just work all the soil in as I'm adding it, because these roots are very twisty and there's the potential for a lot of air pockets in here if I don't work the soil in as I'm adding it. And I can always build the soil up a little too high, and then gradually as the tree gets established I can remove some, rake it away, and expose the roots a bit more if I want to. I think that's going to be enough soil. So now I've got to carefully work it in, making sure there's no big air pockets under the tree, so all the roots have contact with soil. And this soil is a bit of my regular soil mixed with grow stones, so it should retain water quite well. It's kind of a mixture of some larger particles and some smaller particles. And I'll keep this well watered. And it'll be in the greenhouse here, kept nice and warm. I still have to put the heat on at night. Last night we got down to 11 degrees Celsius, which is getting on the cool side. Well, there were a few air pockets at the back. So the soil level went down a bit, so I'll have to add a bit more in. But I think that's quite good now. So I'll add a bit more soil at the back here. I think that's good. I'm going to have to do a little cleanup, but I'm going to get it watered first. Before I water it, I'm going to take a final look and make sure I'm happy with the composition. I think that's looking good. I can't see anything that's standing out that I need to change at the moment. And I may, as I look at the tree over the next year, I may maybe want to rotate the front a bit or make some minor adjustments, but I think for now it's looking quite good. So I'll get the tree watered now. So here I go. Well, the pot's draining quite well at the drainage holes. Okay. So next I'm going to clean up all the soil that's spilling out and make it look a little nicer. I think I will moss the tree up also. I'm dying to see what it looks like with a layer of moss, and I think it'll help hold some moisture in the soil. So I'll get it all cleaned up and get all this soil away from the pot, and then come back and do the mossing. Here is a look at the tree in the pot before I moss it up. I think it looks right at home in here. All those twisty branches up there. Yeah, I think it's a good style for this pot. I've collected some moss from the front sidewalk, so there it is. Nice fine velvety moss. So I'll moss up the tree and we'll come back and see what it looks like. I finished mossing up my bluebell tree, so let's fly in now and have a look. I'll spin the dragon around so you can see it from all sides. So here's the front, coming around to the right hand side, the back, the left-hand side. And back to the front. My bluebell tree does need a little bit of pruning. There's a lot of branches growing down low, but I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave the tree to recover, and when it starts growing again with lots of vigor, then I'll tackle the pruning all at once. It's time now for today's update. My update for today is my powder puff tree, and it has a few flowers out, and oh, they are just so beautiful, glowing in the sun. This one's just about done, and there's a whole bunch of flower buds to come out still. Yeah, they're just, I mean, beautiful flowers. I don't think flowers get any better looking than that. The tree is growing quite well. You can see there's new growth on it here. Yeah, it's doing quite well since the last pruning. Like this is, oh no, that was the front of the tree, yeah. Yeah, so that is the update for today, my powder puff. I've been looking at the tree, so my overall feeling is that I think it's a good match. This pot is a very difficult pot to find something that looks good in it. You need something quite fancy, otherwise the pot overpowers the tree. And at the moment the tree is a little overpowered by the pot. But I think once it starts growing, fills out, and develops more, I think it'll look really good in this pot. And I think it'll do really well in this soil. Yeah, I think it's on the right track for a good summer of growth. I can hardly wait to come in and begin the pruning. I finally got my dragon pot planted with the bluebell, so thanks very much, Johnny, for the tree. I think it's a good match. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.